Hi, everybody. Bruce Mufson, LCSW from SUNRIDGE, Nevada. First of all, I want to say very quickly and very openly, we're back. We've been gone for 8 months, not by our own choosing. We had problems with our last channel, and we were unable to put out new videos, and at the same time as well, unable to answer any comments that came in on our almost 160, 165 videos. However, tonight we're back, and we're going to start off with Kendrick Lamar's latest album, and I'm going to break down every one of those songs. And we're going to do the first song tonight. Over the next several weeks, next several months, under the very capable hands of my manager slash producer, we're going to have all of the videos transferred to our new site, SUNRIDGE, Nevada, and I'll have the ability to access the comments and return them and give you guys answers to all of your questions. There's at least like 400 or 500 of them. And at the same time, we're going to go back to the live streams, and we're going to discuss different ways how we intend to grow the channel. So we're back. And before I get into, who I am and what I do, I'm delighted to be here, and we can't wait to get started. Now, a little bit about myself. Bruce Mufson, and I'm still Bruce Mufson, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker. I received my master's degree from the University of Georgia now about 25, 26 years ago. And after I finished my master's to become a licensed clinical social worker, I did 2 years post-master's to gain experience and do so many hours. And then I took a national exam that allows me to be licensed and a clinical person. In my career, I have literally worked with thousands of people. And I have worked with people from the ages of 3 to 83. And I have done also thousands of assessments. And at the same time, I have worked inpatient, I've worked outpatient. I have gone to prisons. I have done thousands of home visits. So my experience is vast. At the same time, I've also been in the courtroom, and I've testified hundreds of times on various mental health issues relating to defendants so that the courts have a better understanding of what they're dealing with. I've also done extensive public speaking, primarily with law enforcement, to understand how to work better with the mentally ill. And at the same time, to keep my license current, I have to get so many what's called CEUs, which are different various units to keep my license fresh when I apply for it every year. Now, tonight, you know him, we know him, we love him. I'm going to do Kendrick Lamar's new album, which came out a little while ago, Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers. And I believe there's 18, 19 songs on there. We're going to do every single one of them because we've always had huge outpourings of interest in his work, and we owe a great deal of debt and gratitude to him because he's been such an influence on myself and on this channel. So I'm going to break down the first song. Now, for those of you that, again, we've been on for some time, I'm only going to break down certain lyrics that I find clinically interesting to me, and we're going to go from there. So without any further ado, here we go. Okay. This song and the album itself is very interesting to me because the photo of him holding up his daughter and his girlfriend holding their baby in the back is interesting because it's very symbolic to me. And I just wanted to kind of go over that a little bit beforehand because to me, pictures are very expressive and they're not done idly. And he's holding together what is now the most important thing in his life, and that's his little girl. And cute little face, he's holding on to her. And look at the room. It's just a room. This is a man who's played in front of like 60,000 people, and you're in a room with the paint peeling, average looking bed. The girlfriend's in the corner, looks like she's about to nurse or hold on to the newborn. And do the kids even care? Or are they worried about the paint scheme? Like it's not what I'm looking for. I'd like a lighter shade of gray. They could care less. All this little girl wants is to be loved, to be held, to be kissed, and if she falls down and hurts herself, to be picked up and made to feel comforted. Now, you notice that Kendrick is very expressive with his garments at times. You notice that was that white shirt, which always tells me something. But he's wearing two things. He has a crown on his head. What does the crown symbolize to me? That when you're a little child and you look up at your parents, they look like gods to you. You're huge compared to them. And you literally take care of every aspect of their life until they're old enough to start thinking and doing things for themselves. On the other hand, I noticed this too. In the background on his waist, he has a gun sticking out. Why? Because when you become a parent, what happens is you literally will kill for your children to protect them and look out for them. So the crown and the gun are symbolic, as to me, always that white shirt that he wears, but these are symbolic issues to me of what a new father or a new parent is going through as you hold this little precious thing in your arms. All right, now I'm going to go to part one with the intro. And this is Whitney Alford. And it goes, I hope you find some peace of mind in this lifetime. And I know that feeling because this is the hardest thing you will ever find. I'm hoping to find some peace in this lifetime. I have experienced that myself and trying to understand how that goes. And the name of the song, by the way, so everyone knows, United in Grief, which has huge, we'll get into that a little bit later. There's a duality to it I want to go over as well. So United in Grief. But she goes, I know that feeling. That is the hardest thing to ever find. And trust me, I'm still trying to find that, to find peace of mind. Then she goes further. Now you notice there's 9 times where it says, tell him, tell him, tell him, tell him. Tell your audience the truth and tell yourself the truth. And then tell the truth to each one of us. I'm giving you the beginnings of being able to say, you need to let people know what is the truth. Tell them, tell them, tell them. It's important. And then when she gets to the last one, it gets louder and it's more impassioned. Please, Kendrick, tell your audience, your global fame, what it means to understand the truth. And what I'm getting also is that he's a different person, about to drive on the roller coaster, about to get on the roller coaster, because it's been a journey to understand who you are. I understand it at his age. I understand it at my age. It's a journey to figure out what you've turned into. And here's this. He then says, I've been going through something, be afraid. Yeah, you know what you're afraid of? About what are you going to find out about yourself? And that's always the thing with looking into a mirror and looking at yourself, is not just what do I accomplish as a new father, what am I going to accomplish down the road? How am I going to be as I age? But yeah, you're afraid. You're afraid to look at yourself and see the insecurities and the things that you've done that you're ashamed of and be able to put that in perspective. And also it changes in tone, like be afraid. It's racing. You have to get it out, have to get it out, have to express it. I have to get it out. Going further down, he starts to poke almost like fun at his persona, how he's perceived. He goes, what is a rapper with jewelry? A way that I show my maturity. And it's so ironic to me because I've read musicians in the 60s and 70s when they would wear like heavy gold pieces, so to speak, they would rent them. And it would be like $5 to wear a fake necklace. But it was meant to show that you had status and you had wealth and you could afford a necklace that might cost $5,000, $50,000, $100,000, but it was a prop. It wasn't even real. It's like, oh, you got the necklace, you got the jewelry, great. It was just fake jewelry, a fake watch, but that's a way I show my maturity. He shows insight and self-awareness. Why do I need these outward appearances? What is it really for? What is the purpose? It's not for me. What's it really for? My insecurity, my persona, someone that I'm not. And for all of us, and kids go through this so much, is who am I? What am I? How am I connected? And to really be yourself is like so scary today because we deal with this when I deal with kids. Like, I don't want to stand out. I don't want to be different. I got to be with the crowd. And because of social media today, it's next to impossible to be different, because if you're different, you get shunned, you get attacked. But that's what he's trying to say. I show my maturity, like he's almost like laughing at himself. All right, going further down, it goes like this. I went and got me a therapist. I can debate on my theories and sharing it. And it was getting louder. On God for purity, the music is getting louder. Because what he's saying is, I'm making seismic changes in my life. I went and got a therapist. Now, we've talked about this on this channel before, where I've watched videos of rappers generally that were at the height of their career. And when I watched the videos of them, like supposedly being with their quote, quote, friends, it was so artificial, it was painful to watch. Because these are just people that are just telling you what you want to hear. They're not your friends, they're just enablers. And when you get someone that listens to you and say, you know what, I don't agree with that, well, you're not thinking correctly, you're opening yourself up, and that's so scary when 20,000 people are screaming your name and your 50 hanger-ons are telling you how amazing you are, as long as you have plenty of drugs and money to spend on drugs and get into clubs and be pseudo-famous. So he's able to admit he needed help and to talk to someone to get a different perspective. That's what a good therapist is supposed to do, is give you a different perspective. And it takes guts to do that and realize you don't have all the answers. And kudos to him and to everyone else that takes that leap. I consider myself to be the best therapist out there. And it's been shown by the videos and the response to the videos and the clientele that I work with. But I'm there to give you a different perspective and to tell you the truth that maybe you don't want to hear, and open yourself up like a can. And then next phrase is humbling up because time is imperative. Oh baby, you get older, life gets by faster and faster. You realize you only have so much time left. Make good use of it. Trust me, life goes by super fast. And when you get to be a certain point in your life, you realize, I'm not a kid anymore. Time is moving on. Then a little further, shaking and moving, like, what am I doing? What am I doing? You know what? That's a question I ask myself all the time. I'm always doing that. What am I doing with myself? It's one that we all have to ask ourselves. Every day I ask myself, what am I doing? What am I doing? Is it a productive day? Did I blow off today? I only have so many days in my life left. I'm going to be 60 this year. Not that I'm like freaked out about it, but like, wow, I'm old. How much time do I really have to make a difference with this channel, with my family, with my friends, with my career? Time is running out like an hourglass. Then a little further, I'm flipping my time through the Rolodex, indulging myself and my life into my music. The world that I'm in is a cul-de-sac. Oh boy. Yeah, you're going from name to name. Why? To see, who do you really connect with? We've done this before, where I say to people, and I do this when I counsel with, when I do any kind of speeches, how many true friends do you really have? And the average answer, 2. You think you have hundreds. I could look at my phone now, and I think I have 550 contacts. If I went through my phone and was really cold about it, probably only talked to about 20 people of that 550 on that phone. You know, we think. We have so many friends, everyone cares about us. Reality, you got 1 or 2 tight friends, and hopefully you have a family that cares about you, and hopefully you like yourself. You don't need the Rolodex. You don't need that scrolling through the phone. And, you know, you pick up that phone and you think everyone's there for you. They're really not. Okay. On part 3, he goes, it's a chorus, and there's a new tempo. It's like, it's high action, next level, because he's kind of like diving in to some of the things that he was doing in the past. And he does this. He goes, the new Mercedes with black G-Wagon, the Where You From was all for rap. I was 28 years young, 20 mil in tax, bought a couple of mansions just for practice. 500 in jewelry, chain was magic, never had it in public, late reaction. 5,000K to cousins, post a caption, pray none of my enemies hold me captive. Old Kendrick, he was young, you know, this is the old Kendrick, and he was young then. Things are happening so fast like this, you get caught up in it, and you get blinded. And this is what youth is. That's why it's so important to have a mentor, someone to keep you grounded, someone to keep you focused, a good therapist, a good realistic agent slash manager, and family and real friends that care about you, whether you go up or whether you go down. And as you get older, hopefully you start to realize that. And then you got the refrain, I grieve different, I grieve different. Rapid pulse, staccato, like that beat, the drums. I see things are starting to change inside me because I grieve different. I grieve different. Okay, moving along, you get the refrain again of I grieve different, I grieve different. I'm going to explain that at the end of the breakdown. Same staccato, like you can't catch your breath. He's trying to slow down. He's becoming contemplative, like, where am I? Who am I? Who am I connected to? Who do I relate to? Like it's been a whirlwind from growing up where I did to where I am now, worldwide tours and, fame and everything and this and that. Who am I? I grieve different. I grieve different. And then in the chorus, it goes again with the new Mercedes, the black G-Wagon. It's like a 4-minute run, like you're running, the mile, still being defined by the objects. And I was 28 years young, 20 million tax, bought a couple of mansions. And you need the experience of understanding, what is this? What are you doing with this? And going back again, the 500 in jewelry, the chain was magic. Never had it in public, late reaction, the 50K to the cousins, pray none of my enemies hold me captive. You start to realize it doesn't mean anything. It's like eating cotton candy. Like, the first one you have, great, delicious. The second one, by the third and fourth, it looks great on the outside, but it starts making you sick on the inside. What am I doing? What am I doing? Okay, and then he goes with verse 3. I bought a Rolex watch. I only wore it once. I bought infinity pools I never swimmed in. Has become a compulsion. Like I'm buying things. I don't even know what I'm buying. I want to give a quick story about LeBron James. He made a comment one time. They said to him about who does your management investment advice. He goes, I have 4 guys that grew up with me in Akron when I had no money and I slept on their couches. He goes, we get pushed every week. Hey, LeBron, we want to do your investments. We want to do your taxes. I want to be your lawyer. He goes, we hire people for different things, but we just pay him and say thank you. He goes, I stick with my 4 friends. You know why? And the guy was like, why? He goes, because they know me. They grew up with me, and they're not going to screw me. And I've seen dozens of athletes and entertainers go broke because they trusted people that did not have their best interest in mind. It's a powerful lesson. Only surround yourself with good people and not doofuses and idiots. I learned that the hard way. And then finally, he's very good as a wordsmith. And there are times I just quote his lines because they're so instructive in how he kind of like tweaks and turns them. He goes, poverty was the case, but the money wiping the tears away. Poverty was the case, but the money wiping the tears away. It's a great 3 lines. And you realize a lot of his issues, a lot of his thinking, what did it stem from? It stemmed from having nothing. Poverty was the case. He's truly honest about this. I had nothing. So all of a sudden to walk into the candy store and buy anything I want and not even worry about money, it's intoxicating. It's like a drug. Because poverty, when you grow up poor, and I know that, I didn't grow up wealthy, trust me, it's like you want things without even realizing why you want them, because you didn't have them as a kid. But the money is to buy things to prove, what is it really trying to prove? Validation and self-worth. And accepting that it was all based on pain and on shame and lack of self-worth. When you only really learn to like yourself, your clothing, your shoes, your outward stuff, the car I drive, it's irrelevant. What's relevant is holding on to that little girl with that cute little face and his girlfriend taking care of this newborn and making them happy, making them secure, making them feel safe, and doing things with them to make them feel special. Now, finally, in the outro, I grieve different. Everybody grieves different. Everybody grieves different. I grieve different. It's the slowdown. The climax is coming. I can now see the bigger picture, like the clouds have parted. And the piano holds it all together because I now know who I am finally. I give him credit because I didn't learn who I was till a couple of years ago. I was chasing things, running around things, doing things, all because of how I grew up, which was not that great. It was a dysfunctional family. And I made a lot of mistakes until I finally realized who Bruce is and who Bruce needs to be and what kind of parent, father, social worker I need to be. And boy, have I paid in that in a lot of mistakes. So think about his words, how he says it, that the pain, the money wiping the tears. Yeah, that's what happens. When you don't have money, I get it, I get it, I get it. I would say to him, those are a brilliant three-line shot. Because when you don't have money, you're always insecure. Now, I want to just close with this and explain. I want to get into United We Grieve and this and that. Your kids want you. And understand this, if you're a new parent, if you're a grandparent, if you want to be a parent, if you're a teenager, if you're 50 years old, this breakdown's for everybody. Your kids want you. And it's interesting for me to say this because when I was growing up, I wasn't close to my father. I didn't want to hang around him. My kids, even though they're now young adults, they still want to hang around me because they, at least I'm hoping they get something from me when they talk to me. They want to spend time with me. They don't care about your jewelry or your cars or your watches. What do they know from that? They're the most precious things to you. They're priceless. You can't replace a child. Same way you can't replace a mother. You know, they're priceless. Truly, this is your Rolex. This is your Mercedes. This is your infinity pool. You know, this is how you really want to define yourself. Are your kids going to be healthy and happy and normal? All right? And you realize the crown from another aspect as well is that the crown represents God. And Kendrick is religious, and a lot of his songs have religious undertones to it because when you start to wake up and realize you got to be grateful for what you do have, you get humble. You realize it doesn't just come from you. There is some kind of higher power that's helping you to achieve your goals. Here's the thing. Being a parent never ends. Never ends. I tell parents who have newborns, just enjoy it. Enjoy changing the diapers, enjoy the late nights, enjoy the bottles, enjoy them pulling on the cat's tail, them knocking things over, you know, learning how to walk and bouncing their head and boo, 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 crying. That's the fun part, trust me. The scary part is when they get older and they're going to come to you for advice and come talk to you. And it's only when your parents get truly old, like 70, 80, heart attack, strokes, God forbid, senility. Those are the first two are bad enough. And you become the parent that you truly become an adult. The tables have turned. And I've dealt with enough guys who have dealt that with parents who were dying, mothers, fathers, and how they coped and what they were dealing with and trying to be there and loving them because they realized what their parents did for them. Be a good parent. Be an involved parent. The outside stuff, honestly, is a waste of time. Your kids don't care how much your jeans cost. Your kids care if you pick them up when they're crying, when they're upset. And learn to enjoy it and chase experiences that are real and not an illusion. And he is realizing that. And I want to finally close with, what's the name of the song? United in Grief. And he says, I grieve differently. So it's kind of a juxtaposition. Like, how does the one fit into the other? How do they click? I grieve differently. I'm Kendrick Lamar. I've made mistakes in my life. I now have a girlfriend. I now have 2 small children. What I got away with when I was 25, 28, I can't get away with in my 30s now. I am older. Father time is starting to affect me. But at the same time, united in grief, we're all one. Everyone goes through rough times in their life. So just the thing that, you know, today everything is also angry. I can't relate to you. I can't listen to you. I can't talk to you. But we're united in life experiences. And many of them related around grief situations. So we walk into a house of a mourner. We deal with a parent that had a terrible tragedy from a child or loss of a spouse. We are united in grief, but I grieve differently because I'm grieving my level. You have the right to grieve your level. That's when I grieve differently. It's like kind of like throwing a pebble into a pond. We all grieve differently, but we're united in that we all go through the same situations as people when we become parents, when we become married, when we get older, when we go through sickness. So I'm just saying to you, learn to enjoy what's really a good time and learn to get past the fakeness and the shallowness of what a lot of life can turn out to be if you're not careful. Don't chase that, chase your family. Be the best parent you can be. Understand your children. Understand it's going to be rocky times ahead. I can't lie to you. Life is not all about, fun times and unicorns and rainbows. But when you have a solid base, when you understand who you are, you'll get more appreciation out of his music and out of yourself and out of your relationships. Thank you again. Bruce Mufson, LCSW, Sunridge, Nevada. That's going to be our new channel. We'll have all the information. And as always, I've learned to say this, all the information how to swing over is going to be in the description box. And that's what we're going to be doing. So any information you need to how to get started and going to the new site, Sunridge of Nevada, will be in the description box. Thank you, everyone, and I'm delighted to be back.